This buyer's guide review is going to focus on the 2014 to 2020 Mercedes S-Class, the W222 chassis code. I'm going to mainly focus on the sedan here because I feel like most S-Class buyers are looking into the sedans, and I kind of had Theodore Young, a good subscriber of mine, in mind when I decided to make this video, so shout out to Theodore. I completely understand the love and the lust that many people have for this generation of the S-Class because many reviewers, myself included, we tend to agree this is one of the best full-size luxury sedans on the planet. It really is a top-tier driving experience. However, there are two cars that kind of match and mimic this vehicle. I'll save that towards the end. However, that magic quality that this vehicle has is not something that a BMW 7 Series or a Audi A8 can offer. Amongst the German vehicles, this car really is in a league of its own. The way it absorbs bumps, the way the seats feel, the interior looks, the way the exterior looks as well. Many people don't like the new S-Class, both from the outside or the in, and I tend to agree. I also like this W222 generation more than the brand new S-Class. I can get over the looks of the new S, but the interior is just unacceptable in my opinion. I hate that giant tablet slab that they have in the middle of the vehicle that serves as the infotainment. I don't like that in the new S-Class. I like the physical buttons and switches, the way they have the vents laid out in this 2014 to 2020 model. I just think it's really elegant. Plus the swagger of the outside too. I prefer it to the brand new S-Class. Granted, when you get the new one, kitted out with the AMG pack and the large wheels, fine, I can get over the exterior looks of the new one, but it's the inside where I have to give the points to the W222. So just a brief overview and thoughts between the new version and the S-Class that we're going to focus on in this video. So let's go ahead and let's get started with some of these common problems. One of the articles that I came across is one by lifeon4.co. Does a great job in listing the various issues throughout this generation of the S-Class. This is more so of a global article. It's mentioning the diesel engines and the 4 cylinders found in other markets. I'm located in the United States, where we primarily had a V6, a V8, and a V12, and then we also had like a plug-in hybrid model as well, but I'm also mainly going to focus on the V8 power plant. Really, the power plant doesn't matter, and you're going to see why throughout this video, because I'm basically, at the end, just going to tell you to buy this thing certified pre-owned with a warranty or just lease one brand new, because that's the basic theme behind all of these flagship luxury cars or luxury cars in general. They are very disposable, and you are better off owning these things under the warranty period, so you don't have to worry about all these little nuanced issues that I'm going to cover in this video. We go through this article here by lifeon4.co, and we have some oil leaks here with certain diesel engines, and we have a S350 model with some wiring harness overheating recalls. There's going to be a lot of that because the way they kind of package these S-Class products and a lot of German vehicles together, it's all very tight, and they pack in the engine, the turbos, the wiring harnesses all together near the exhausts as well, where there is a lot of vibration and heat being produced, and that's just not a good place to have wire harnesses hanging out, you know what I mean? So they start to melt and cause issues and electronic problems as well. We also have the inevitable air suspension issues, and if you don't already know, air struts on luxury cars, they can cost a fortune. I mean, 2-3 grand for even one strut. So as you can see, that is enough to bankrupt most people, and this is why I say a warranty is an absolute must when you own these cars. I'll talk more about that later on in the video. Surprisingly, the automatic transmissions, they held up extremely well for what this is. Initially, from 2014 to 2017, we had the 7-speed automatic transmission. Then for 2018 and up, Mercedes started to use the 9-speed automatic in the United States market. Initially with the 7-speed, some people did notice some hard downshifting and upshifting between second and third gear, but Mercedes rolled out a software update and that seemed to have resolved that issue. Other than that, nothing crazy. We had reports of occasional shift solenoid failures with the 9-speed automatics, but again, the transmission seems to be pretty reliable for the most part. Moving on, one of the models I recommend getting the S560 between 2018 and 2020. Apparently those models had a oil leak problem as well as a recall, and the recall was for some faulty engine oil plugs, and this caused the potential of draining out the oil from the engine, which can cause engine failure but also endanger other drivers on the road with these massive oil leaks, right? When companies issue out recalls, they have to fix these problems for free. Most owners and people in general, they actually praise these engines, like the M276 V6 engine as well as the M278 V8 engine. They're considered to be really good as long as you do the regular maintenance. But the subtle issues that these engines do typically run into, it's the chain tensioners and the check valves. These things typically go wrong with the higher mileage S-classes, just so you know. And of course with direct injection engines, you're going to have this carbon buildup issue, and that's just something you're going to have to clean out, and that's an additional maintenance item that you have to keep up with. A lot of modern day vehicles, as they get older, you're going to have carbon buildup with a direct injected engine. And we can just keep going through this little article here with more oil leaks, a subtle engine rattle, a start-stop system malfunction that's due to an faulty auxiliary battery, and some more oil leaks near the turbocharger, as well as electronic problems, seatbelt issues. I mean, the list goes on and on. We can sit here all day trying to cover this, but I'll have this article up on the screen for you to check out, as well as have it linked in the description box, because I want to move on to my next resource here. And I think this is going to be a very powerful resource for anyone shopping in the used car market. You want to get a good idea of the general issues that you can run into. Well, a lot of what this particular article covered can be found in a government website known as the NHTSA. You come to this website, you type in the model year and the make of the vehicle that you are interested in. For instance, I have typed here 2014 Mercedes-Benz S-Class. This is the first model year of this generation, and that means this should be the most problematic version of this vehicle. So you scroll down and this website will show you various complaints, recalls, investigations, and TSBs, also known as manufacturer communications. This is really critical. You come over to manufacturer communications, you are going to find 87 of these. These are basically 87 issues and faults that the manufacturer has found out about their own product. Granted, I really don't think it's 87. I think it's more like 40, for instance, because there is a lot of redundancy with these TSBs, or manufacturer communications. And when we go through these, you can find out a lot of the TSBs listed here. It's very similar to what we read on the previous article. We have a problem with the ECU and the exhaust back pressure sensor, causing the engine to go into a limp mode. We can see that there are various electrical issues with the vehicle, and that's NHTSA.gov. But we also have carcomplaints.com, which will also show you pretty much the same information, but I like the way they kind of compile it. It's a little bit easier to go through. So on their website, they show 97 TSBs. Again, there's a lot of redundancy here, so it's not quite 97, it's more like 40 or so. We have some clunking noises being heard with the engine, the transmission, with the suspension in particular. This is something that plagues a lot of vehicles. Squeaking noises when the vehicle is coming to a stop. You're going to see pretty much these similar TSBs on other luxury vehicles and even some economy cars as well. Just nasty little suspension noises. And with these TSBs, they vary in severity. On the higher end, things like misfires and the vibrations and the clunking noises like we already demonstrated, but it can also be on the low end something as small as the manufacturer wanting to reword the service manual. But with these high-tech luxury cars, a lot of it really is electronics. Electronics is what really goes wrong with these cars because there's just so much. I think there's like over 100 computers in the S-Class controlling things. I mean, that's right there 100 different things that can go wrong, along with all the wiring that goes into these cars. And then you tack on the drivetrain stuff like the engine rattling, gaskets becoming unsettled and causing oil leaks, as well as radiator issues. This is just never ending, okay? There is too much here to count, and it's like this with literally every luxury car. This is why I'm not a huge fan of people asking me, hey bro, is this car reliable? Because the answer to that question is Google it and find out that every car has hundreds of issues. And get this, recalls for instance, okay, this car has 4 according to carcomplaints.com. That's going to be covered by the manufacturer for free because that's actually life-threatening and can lead to death. For instance, the roof panel detaching from the vehicle, that's not cool. Loss of electric power steering assist, that's not cool either. These are things that affect your life. They take care of that for free. But the TSBs, all of those like issues that we looked over, if you're under warranty, yeah, the dealership will take care of that for free. But if you buy one of these cars pre-owned with like 80,000 miles, you happen to pick it up for like 30 grand without a warranty, all of those issues that we just covered, which can potentially go wrong, you're on the hook for that. And out of a warranty, dude, these things can cost thousands of dollars, perhaps even tens of thousands of dollars. It is not a joke. So the longer you own one of these cars, the higher the repair bills get, and the more your vehicle loses value and depreciates. That's the main problem with these products and why it's so hard to recommend to most people. You have to be rich to afford one of these vehicles when they're new, and you have to be rich to afford it when they're used. So as you can see, the potential things that can go wrong, it's too much to count. And I always have to mention this, there are those people in the forums that are gonna own these cars and say that they have never had an issue in the 6 to 7 to 8 years that they've owned it. And I do believe that. I do believe those people, some of them will buy the car brand new and then they'll just keep it for 8 years. They'll do the perfect maintenance and the car will never really go wrong. But I think we should operate under Murphy's Law and say if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And just cover yourself. Just get the warranty. That's all I'm saying. If you want to buy this car, go ahead, do it. But understand what you're dealing with here and the caliber of what you're dealing with here and prepare accordingly. That's all. And there's going to be one other issue I'm going to mention. The wheels on these S-Class vehicles do tend to crack a lot. So if you live in a place that doesn't have the best roads, like in New Jersey, a lot of potholes everywhere, there is a potential that you're going to be cracking your wheels left, right, and center. In fact, some people even suggest buying a set of one-piece forged alloy wheels, like a set of HREs, but that can cost $7,000 to $10,000 for a set of wheels like that. And as we're about to see in the used car market, these things are still pretty expensive. You have to buy the car, you have to potentially purchase a warranty for it, and now you have to buy a set of wheels that cost almost $10,000. That's really not cool. But I just want to make sure that you were aware of this. So we've covered the potential issues and I've showed you the resources that you can use to find out about the various problems associated with these cars, like carcomplaints.com and NHTSA, where you can look over the various TSBs and the recalls and the complaints. Now let's talk about pricing and in general the S-Class market. Okay, I am recording this video June of 2023. Obviously, car prices are going to change, but as of right now, used car prices are very much inflated. And I'm using Car Gurus here. I have everything filtered out between 2014 to 2020. I'm looking at the sedans here, under 80,000 miles. I filtered out all of the clapped out vehicles to the best of my ability, all of the accident vehicles, salvage title, etc. One of the main reasons why I suggest people to avoid accident vehicles is because you have no idea how that particular shop fixed the vehicle up. Some body shops, especially with these luxury cars, you know, with a lot of wiring, things like that, they might not properly secure the various wiring harnesses, and then it can like rub up against certain body components as you're driving down the road, and it can kind of eat away at the wiring and cause electrical issues down the road. This is something that my master mechanic told me. So you look through the marketplace, and on the low end for a relatively clean 2014, 2015 S-Class, you're looking at around $30,000. Again, none of these cars are certified pre-owned, so you can filter by CPO vehicles. And I will also suggest most people going with a V8 because you're buying this thing used, you might as well enjoy that proper engine as well. And some of the cheaper CPO models seem to be going for around $40,000 to $50,000, and there's only about 100 or so in the entire country. But a lot of the 2019s and up, they're going for around $60,000, and these are the most common CPO S-Classes. $60,000, that's not exactly chump change. I do understand that these vehicles were around $120K when they were new, but you buy one of these cars at 60 grand or even $50,000, this thing is still going to depreciate. It's still going to lose another $20,000, $30,000 after 2 or 3 years. And yeah, you can also get the AMG models, that's cool, but even the AMGs, that's also going to tank in value. All of these flagship luxury cars do tank in value due to their disposable nature. But if you really like the S-Class, but you hate the brand new one, then I guess you don't have a choice. You kind of have to buy into one of these vehicles. And in this next segment, I'm going to tell you why looking into the CPO models is going to be in your best interest. Okay, now we're on the official Mercedes-Benz USA website, and you come to shopping and certified pre-owned offers. You're going to be presented with some special financing offers as well, but we'll talk more about that later. As you can see, the S-Class does not show up in this section of CPO financing offers, so that sucks. I'm not sure what the finance rate is going to be on a certified S-Class, but I guess it's going to be higher than 3%. And also, this is for 36 months. That's another thing that a lot of car companies are doing with these certified vehicles. They want you to finance for 24 or 36 months, and then they'll give you the low interest rate. So yeah, you get to pay the vehicle off quickly, but the payments are going to be very high, and not many people can afford that. Anyway, you come to the certified section, and it will tell you which vehicles will meet the CPO requirements. The vehicle has to be less than 6 years old, have less than 75,000 miles, etc. It's got to pass their little 165-point inspection. And the warranty, well, it'll give you coverage that you can trust for up to 5 years. So the new car warranty is 4 years, 50,000 miles. You buy the car, you will get the remainder of that warranty, and then after that expires, you will get an additional 1 year of coverage with unlimited miles. For the most part, you're getting maybe 2 to 3 years of coverage. And what is covered? Well, the good news is just about everything, but yeah, it's literally only for 2 or 3 years. That's like a lease, essentially. They will cover everything from the powertrain to the suspension, even some of the braking components, the electrical systems, that's the most important thing, along with climate, the audio, the navigation. So you can be rest assured. But what are you going to do after that 2 or 3 years is up? Well, you're just going to have to trade the car in. And that's what I'm saying. You buy one of these cars used for around 50 or 60K. After 3 years, the thing is going to be worth maybe 30 grand. So you're losing around 10 grand in depreciation every year. That's around $800 a month. This is why I'm not a huge fan of buying these old, used, clapped out vehicles. $800 a month in depreciation. I would rather just lease a brand new car. I'd rather just get something like an Audi S5 that leases for $800 a month. I get it, that's not an S-Class, but that's also going to be brand new with no miles on it. Trading this old car in after 3 years is basically the same as leasing a new car. I mean, get this car if you really want it and you absolutely cannot stomach the new one. Certain vehicles like this, you're just going to have to go and deal with the used car market. You don't really have a choice if you want to enjoy certain vehicles like this or that full-size Range Rover I did a video about a few weeks ago. If you want a supercharged 5-liter V8 full-size Range Rover, you're gonna have to go into that used car market and pick one up because they don't make a new flagship Range Rover with the supercharged V8 anymore. If you're gonna do that, make sure you get the CPO warranty. If you want to keep the car past that warranty, I would suggest you working with the dealership, purchasing a separate warranty or extending your current warranty, because it's typically cheaper to extend the warranty on a CPO car than any other vehicle. For instance, if you bought a 2015 S-Class from some random dealership and you bought it for 30 grand, the warranty on that car is probably going to cost around $10,000, and I'm not even exaggerating about that. So the privilege of having to drive this car is really high. And next, let's go ahead and let's talk about the finances, and then we can conclude. Okay, we briefly talked about this on the Mercedes website. They were offering 2.99% interest rate on various CPO Mercedes cars, but they did not mention the S-Class in there. So we don't know what the S-Class CPO finance rate is going to be. It might be around 4 or 5%, who knows. But those numbers that they quoted for the other cars, that's only for 36 months. That's what I've noticed with a lot of car companies. With their certified inventory, they're only offering financing up to 24 to 36 months at the low interest rate. If you go past that, now they're going to start cranking up that interest rate to 5, 6, 7% or even higher, even if you have perfect credit. So that is not helping the consumer in any way possible. If you're really serious about these cars, consider paying cash for it, but I get it, most people can't do that. But even pre-pandemic, it never really made much sense to finance used cars. The finance rates on a used car, it was almost always very high. And leasing a new S-Class is also very expensive. Even if you pull all the tricks out of your hat, putting down multiple security deposits and doing a one-pay lease, getting a loaner car instead of a brand new one, you know what I mean? Like a new S-Class, but one with like 4,000 or 5,000 miles, something that they use as a service vehicle. You do all that, you get 20% off MSRP. You're still looking at around $1,200 to $1,400 a month on a 4-year S-Class lease for a brand new one. That's if you pull all the stops. For the most part, you're paying around $1,800 a month. Not cheap at all. Then you factor in insurance costs and fuel costs, you're well over $2,000. So that's kind of the financial picture of this. And as I already stated before, you purchase one of these cars used for around 50, 60K, you're still paying around $700, $800 a month in depreciation. But if you love this car, then by all means. Now, I think it's about time that we conclude, and I will let you in on what those other vehicles are that I suggest some people purchasing as an alternative to the S-Class if you're not a big fan of these prices and payments that I have laid out to you. Okay, concluding thoughts. I do love this car very much. I personally would love to own one of these cars. With the warranty, I love it. I love the way it looks, the way that it drives, the inside, everything about this car. It is incredible. It does have a true magical quality about its driving demeanor. And as I mentioned before, yeah, there's always going to be those people that buy vehicles like this and have absolutely no issues with it. And then there's going to be other people that get a totally horrible lemon car interior is falling apart, the leather and the seams and everything is coming apart. You know, there's going to be those people as well. And you can't predict who you're going to be in this equation. As you can see, there's just too much to go wrong with a used car and a luxury car at that. There's just too much. So you can't predict it. That's why I told you to do the things that I mentioned in this video, leasing or buying certified with a warranty. But what are these other vehicles that sort of captures the essence of the S-Class? That would be the Genesis G90 from 2017 to 2023, and also the Lexus LS 460 from 2013 to 2017, as well as a brand new Lexus ES 350 or 300h, and finally the Volvo S90. These 4 sedans have a very special feeling. The Genesis and the LS 460 really mimic the S-Class extremely well. It is extraordinary how similar these vehicles feel. If you doubt my words, go and test drive one for yourself. But in the new car market, some cheaper alternatives, it's going to be leasing a new ES 350 or an ES 300h Lexus or a Volvo S90. These are some really high quality products that hit way above their weight class. They feel twice as good as what their MSRP would suggest, and that's why I'm so high on the Lexus ES and the Volvo S90. Again, if you doubt my words, go and test drive those vehicles for yourself. Again, I would still suggest getting a warranty or buying those cars CPO or leasing them brand new if possible. But those are the alternatives that I wanted to share, and these are my thoughts on a pre-owned S-Class and all of the potential issues and the various resources that I wanted to share with you. Use them to your advantage, not just for this car, but for any other vehicle as well. Both NHTSA in the United States and carcomplaints.com, very powerful resources, as well as of course any of the Mercedes-Benz forums. So hopefully this video was valuable to you. If you found value with it, please make sure to like and subscribe, and even consider purchasing some of my merchandise that I have linked below. If you're an owner of a W222 S-Class, leave your thoughts below. What's your experience been like? What's the dealership experience been like? Have you personally purchased warranties or extended any warranties? Let us know how much that costed you and anything that went wrong. But thank you so much for watching. I'll have my next video on the end screen here. Click on it and I will see you there.